From a father whose reckless storage of firearms led to the tragic death of his child.
It's making a firearm accessible to a child. Did someone pass away as a result?
So this one was the defendant, the father of the children. There were 3 children playing.
To a man charged with multiple violent offenses while out on bond.
You have a no bond warrant on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
These cases show Judge Fleischer's approach to holding criminals accountable, starting with Mr. Gutierrez, whose heartbreaking situation leaves us wondering how such a tragic oversight could happen. How could a loaded gun be left within a child's reach?
Hi, Ms. Ziegler. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
So it's making a firearm accessible to a child. Did someone pass away as a result?
So this one was the defendant, the father of the children. There were 3 children playing. And then the gun or the weapon was found on the bed, and one of the children was trying to get rid of the gun and then ended up shooting and killing his 10-year-old brother, shooting in the side of his head. And I spoke with Caroline on this, but I was more comfortable deferring to you without an agreed rec on what you thought was appropriate here.
I don't know.
I looked at the mitigation packet, but
What'd you think?
for some reason, the case is 2 years old and it was only a 7-page packet. I felt that his statement wasn't really, taking as much responsibility overtly for this. And then it was images of their family. I understand all of that, but with 2 years going on, I don't know why this wasn't resolved with the other chiefs or what's going on, but I just wanted to see a little more.
Mr. Gutierrez, come up.
Your Honor, do you have a translator here for this?
Oh, he doesn't speak English.
No.
Got it.
Morning, Judge.
Hi, Luis, how are you?
Because you wanna,
So are you okay with going without an agreed rec, Ms. Ziegler? Are
Sorry.
you okay with going without an agreed rec? Where was the weapon initially? Do you know?
It was found on the bed.
fue encontrada en la cama.
Just the gun is laying, a gun is, just- well, do we know where it was initially before it was used? I guess that's my question.
There were several guns in the house. If you, one moment, let me pull up the OR, but this one that was involved in the accident was found on the bed. One second.
Un momento.
The mother, the complainant, or sorry, next of kin advised that she was told that one of her children was trying to make the bed and in the process moved the firearm and it was discharged. And the child did not know that the gun was loaded.
That's a worst nightmare.
I know.
Just- It's awful.
Terrible.
I don't know. I don't. I think that there has to be some punishment, right?
Your Honor, we're happy to speak to him and have him redo his mitigation packet.
But the thing is that he's had the chance to do it. You know what you're supposed to do. And if you can't own up to it at that time, then, that's truly what you mean at that time. Right? So I'd like to see it, if you don't mind, his letter to see
Of course.
how he feels. Is he truly remorseful? Because, on one end, I would think that the fact that your own child is dead because of you, is that punishment enough? Right?
That's where I was at too, Your Honor, which I was conflicting on.
If you can't even take responsibility for it,
And
You
the
know,
next of kin, the mother, the prior chief did speak with her in person. We followed up with her over the phone. And she has expressed they've all been to therapy, obviously, and she said to leave it up to us.
are they still together? Is the family still together?
Yes.
So let's do this. Let's get the plea done. I'd like to get it done today. It's 200 days old. Do it. There's going to be some. Okay, not as much, but there's going to be some. And then, but then I'd like to see his letter first, though. if you don't mind, okay?
Absolutely.
And then,
It's in Spanish, so.
it's okay, I can read Spanish. And then, do you want to go ahead and write it up and do it today? Or do you want, tell me how you want to do this.
I would, whatever the recommendation is, I would like some time to talk to him about it.
Okay,
And if he would like to take it today, then we can take it today, but if not, then I would ask for something short.
no, if he doesn't take it, we're gonna set it. It's 200 days old, it's time. So I guess let me take a look at the letter, let me read it, and then I'll get back to you. And then give me 15 minutes, let me just talk to them and then, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
While Mr. Gutierrez faced charges for his carelessness, here's Mr. Vegas facing charges of assaulting and dragging his girlfriend by her hair. Completely unacceptable behavior.
All right, so Mr. Vegas, we have your lawyer here. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Like I've already told you, you're charged with assault. You're also charged with unlawful restraint. Both of those you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. Okay.
The complainant and the defendant are in a dating relationship. On December 5th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a family violence call. Officer met with the complainant, who stated the defendant followed her down from their apartment to her vehicle and had stiff-armed her face. The complainant then left and went to a friend's apartment and the defendant.
Did you say he stiff-armed her face?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
The complainant then left and went to a friend's apartment and the defendant followed. The defendant told the complainant to get into his car because he wouldn't talk to her. The complainant got into the passenger side seat and the defendant reversed aggressively and began driving south on North Main. The complainant stated she tried to exit the vehicle when the defendant stopped at an intersection, but the defendant grabbed her arm and prevented her from leaving. The defendant then began driving west on Rolling Brook Drive. The defendant stopped at another intersection and the complainant was able to exit the vehicle. She began running away from the vehicle and the defendant ran up behind her, grabbed her by the hair and slammed her face into the brick wall of the subway. The defendant then dragged the complainant by her hair to the truck, dragging her to the ground. The defendant tried to put the complainant in the truck, but the complainant was able to run away. Witness by an unknown vehicle tried to help, and the defendant was ID'd by his Texas driver's license.
Mr. Villegas, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on both of your cases. A protective order has been issued in this case on the 7th of this month. I would suggest you get to know it. If you violate the protective order, the state can and probably will file a violation of protective order against you. And I'm telling you, it's the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst ones that you can pick up. The only thing that we're asking you to do is don't have contact with this person and don't be in possession of any weapons. That's all. As long as you can do that, everything here will be fine. Do you understand? This is going to survive for the length of the case. Don't have any contact. Don't use anyone else to try to have any contact with her. Social media, friends, family, anything like this. Do you understand? So Jed, it looks like the felony case is set for February. Do you want to, we usually do 30-day settings just so people don't get forgotten about.
Sure.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course. Thank
And
you.
then just keep us in the loop, whatever happens, and we'll just keep it, in conjunction with however it goes.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
We'll talk.
If at some point you bond out, you have to come back here for bond conditions. Okay, I don't know if you're going to bond out, but if you do at some point, you will need bond conditions because I want to ensure that you're not going to have any contact with this person. Okay, for now, we'll just put you back. Yeah, I mean, there's no need for you to say anything at this point. Just, I want you to understand that right. He'll take care of you, Mr. Vegas. We need him just to sign bond conditions saying that he's not going to have any contact, not be in possession of any weapons, and then that's it.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Fine.
It's outrageous how some people resort to violence over petty arguments. Here's Mr. Venable facing charges for assaulting a family member.
Good morning, Mr. Venable.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Venable, you're charged with 2 counts of assault. One is of a family member. On both of those, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay, Ms.
On January 21st of 2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to an AFM call. Officer met with the complainant. The complainant and the defendant have been dating for 5 months. The complainant and the defendant were arguing. The defendant pushed the complainant to the ground, causing her to scrape her right arm. While the complainant was still on the floor, the defendant stepped on her neck. Officer noted.
Stepped on her neck.
Yes, Judge. Officer noted redness on the complainant's arm and neck.
You know if it impeded breathing?
No, Judge, I don't, I can't, let me check. It wasn't charged as an impeding arrest, so.
Well, I know it wasn't charged, but is it?
The DIMS don't say that she had any trouble breathing, but I'll look at the offense report, Judge.
And here's the other thing. The first assault is from October of 23. The second assault is from January of this year. And now we have a felony evading arrest on December 10th.
Yes, Judge.
Were these 2Bs? Was he out on bond for these? Vic, do you know?
It looks like. No,
So
it
this is
looks-
Venable, who's now picked up a third case. He had 2 misdemeanors, one's from 23, one's from 24. Did we ever do PC or had he ever been on bond
No, Judge, it was just a non-arrival.
for the whole time? All right.
Judge, it doesn't say that she had trouble breathing, it just says that it caused her pain.
Okay, can you do probable cause? So that's the family member, right?
That's the AFM.
Okay,
Judge.
can you do the first case? Because I don't think we've done probable cause on that one now.
This is the AFM from January 21st. Oh, the ABI, the one before.
Yeah, the one before.
On 9/29/2023, officers were dispatched. On arrival, officers spoke with the witness, complainant's wife, who said that the defendant assaulted the complainant by slapping him in the face because the complainant's dog killed the defendant's girlfriend's cat. Then officers spoke with the complainant, who said he had invited the defendant into his residence to discuss the situation when the defendant said she should knock the shit out of him. And the next thing complainant knew, the defendant had struck him across the left side of his face with his hand, causing pain.
Mr. Venable, I want you to understand one thing, that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my community at all costs.
Sure.
And if that means I have to make your bond extremely high, taking you into custody, kicking and screaming, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand?
Sure.
I'm ordering you as a condition, I'm going to find probable cause on both of your cases, and I'm ordering you not to have any contact with either of the people in this case.
Sure.
There's a protective order that has been issued in the family case. I would get to know it. Don't say anything. You will get the opportunity. Now is not that time. I'm telling you what the expectation is while these cases are open, and what the expectation is for you to be able to live in this free world. Because if you don't abide by these expectations, I'm going to take the free world away from you. You are not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. You're also not to have contact with either of these people, not to be in possession of weapons, and abide by the conditions of the protective order. If you violate those conditions of the protective order, the state can file a fourth case, a violation of a protective order. If they do, that is the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up, and you violate those conditions, I can have a hearing to hold you at zero bond. Zero bond, and I'll do it in a heartbeat to protect every person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
I do, but it's,
So you do not have a Texas driver license. I am now ordering you also as a condition of your bond not to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising you that you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care where you got to go. You violate this, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car.
an Ubering to and from, so.
Don't. There's nothing you can say to justify. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what the expectation is.
Yes, Your Honor.
We are now going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So for now, I'm going to have you come up here, sign this order, promising us you're not going to drive. I will get you to Victoria, where we will have you sign a reset for you to go get a lawyer. You will meet with Fleischer for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go.
Sir.
The one in there that has contact.
Got it. Okay. So Rosette, the order in the one that's signed by the magistrate is allowing contact, but I'm going to issue one now so that he cannot have contact. Okay, just so that you know.
Also, I don't see a moor on the injury case.
Well, it's because it's not a family member case. That's why you can only do one on the family member cases. All right. that way.
Unlike Mr. Venable, this time it's Mr. Benito facing charges for unlawful possession of a weapon. It's crazy how they know it's illegal but still do it anyway.
You're Stephen Benito. Mr. Benito, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
4/29/2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers observed a vehicle run a red light and they attempted a traffic stop. The vehicle evaded for 0.59 miles, speeding 63 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone before crashing into a tree. The driver detained the defendant got detained and was sent to Woodland Memorial Hermann Hospital for his injuries. Officers recovered a bag from the vehicle containing a firearm. So he ran a red light, they attempted a traffic stop, he evaded for 0.59 miles, and then they found a firearm on him.
Where was it?
Tumble.
Don't say anything, please.
He was traveling southbound in the 29800 block.
No. I mean, like, where was the gun? I guess, yeah. No, it's a company of the felony. Mr. Benito, I'm going to find that the probable cause is I'm going to find probable cause to go forward with the case. How old are you, sir?
He was inside the center console.
You're 17. What do you do for a living, sir?
Not worried. Company.
Are you in high school?
Online school. Online school.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm enrolled in online school.
Okay, I'm sending you for a drug test. And I don't want you to smoke weed. I don't want you to use alcohol. I don't want you to have any weapons. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
No.
You're not allowed to drive. You will be signing a promise with me today, Mr. Benito. I want you to understand that I take it extremely serious. You are only 17 and you're starting your life out now. You have an open third-degree felony. You're looking at up to 10 years in prison. This is not a good way to start life, man. Really. You have your whole life ahead of you, and I'm going to tell you, you end up in prison, it's a veritable nightmare. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you go on the up and up. I want you to stay in school. That's also a condition of your bond. Do you understand? I don't want you out in the middle of the night. I'm giving you a curfew as well. I'll give you a lawyer today, but we're going to work hard and fast to make sure that you go on the up and up. You understand? No more weapons and no driving. Who are you here with today? How'd you get here? Okay, don't drive. I'm not asking much.
Judge, it was in the center console. I just need to review the report.
Okay. This is an affidavit. This is a promise that you're going to make to me. And if I find that you drive, and I'm telling you, I don't care what your reason is, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. The problem with driving without insurance, Mr. Benito, is that if you get into an accident, and let's say you kill someone in that accident, who do you think they're going to come after? Right. No, not after you. They're going to come after the deep pockets, which are probably mom and pop. You don't want that to happen. You understand? Come on. So let's send him for a drug test. We'll have him come back, appoint a lawyer now, and then we'll, get with the lawyer to see how we go forward with.
Here's Mr. Valles, facing charges for violently assaulting a family member, proving once again that some people have no boundaries, even with their loved ones. People like him, who never learn from their actions, deserve severe punishment.
Okay, so, all right, good morning, Mr. Villegas. So the reason that we're taking you in now is because you have a no bond warrant on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I see that you're on bond for an aggravated assault from January. I guess there was a simultaneous also. I'm sorry, you're an aggravated assault of a family member. You have a second aggravated assault. This one was a deadly weapon. And now with us, you picked up an unlawful restraint and an assault of a family member. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. All we're going to do is probable cause on these two. I'm going to keep you. It looks like you have a lawyer. I don't want to do anything until we get your lawyer. Okay, so I have Mr. Villegas here. Are you going to be in today? You want me to just wait then to do probable cause? Sure. Okay. All right. Do you mind just putting back and we'll do it here momentarily?
It's crazy how these criminals think they can outsmart the system while racking up charges. Here's Mr. Jones, facing charges for failing to identify himself and lying to law enforcement.
Happy with you, Mr. Jones. You've now picked up a third case. You now stand charged with failure to identify oneself. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On December 5th, 2024, officer initiated a traffic stop on defendant's vehicle for failure to display a front license plate while he was driving in the 5900 block of Mercer Street in Harris County, Texas. Officer made contact with the occupants and detected an odor of marijuana emitting from the driver's side window. All three occupants were detained for a PC search. The defendant provided the name of Kendrick Johnson with a date of birth of 8/30/2006, which returned with nothing. Officer used a mobile AFIS device and found defendant's real name to be Jamarcus Jones with the date of birth of 8/30/06.
I ordered you as a condition of your bond, and you promised me when you got here last time that you would not drive. Stop. Did you say that he was a driver here? Stop. Don't say anything. I don't want you, don't. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. I was under the impression, Rosette, that he's driving here, is he not?
There were three occupants in the car, Judge. I'm trying to see if they clarified. He was a passenger. He was the front passenger, Judge.
Okay, so tell me, let's do a deeper dive.
Sorry?
Let's do a deeper dive. So they pull him over. He's the passenger.
There was an odor of marijuana detected.
So what happened next?
So they detained all three occupants for
Okay.
a probable cause search.
All
The
right.
driver was identified by his driver's license, and the front seat passenger, which is the defendant, provided the name of Kendrick Johnson. And a mobile AFIS revealed that that wasn't his true name. And so he was charged with failure to ID.
Do we have any co-defendants in this case?
Yes, John Burns.
Okay. So what's the cause number on that?
On that one?
Yeah.
It's 25-417-01. That's in court 15.
Okay, is there a third co-defendant as well? Okay. Mr. Jones, I'm glad that you're not driving. Regardless, you've picked up a new case. I don't know what we're going to do, but normally when you pick up a new case while you're on bond, we revoke the bond on the old case. So, I mean, it goes with you. I'm going to appoint your lawyer today. We'll figure out how we go forward. But for now, I'm going to take you in. I'm going to appoint your lawyer. We'll see how we go forward. But you're supposed to behave yourself while you're on bond. You've now picked up a third case. You first have a felony theft. You got a second case, and now you've picked up a third case. It goes with you.
Here's Mr. Trevor, caught trespassing and throwing a gun under a fence, obviously because pathetic offenders like him don't know when to quit breaking the law.
Got it. You were Mr. Trevor Maines? Shh. Mr. Trevor Maines, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Oh, guys, crap. I'm sorry. Sorry, John D. And thanks, Moore. This is Mr. Trevor Maines. It's the last name, Trevor Maines. I guess under Trevor.
Sorry about that, Judge.
It's okay.
So officer, are you ready for me?
Yeah, okay. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay,
Officers were dispatched to a bar in Harris County, Texas, in response to a suspicious person. The complaining witness, a security guard, told the officer that the defendant had left the bar and gotten into his car, but then returned a short time later carrying a gun. While there were other parties arguing in the outdoor area of the bar. The defendant took the gun and threw it under the fence. The complaining witness retrieved the gun, took the bullets out, and returned the gun to the defendant and told him to leave. Complaining witness then observed defendant go to the back of the bar and hop the fence to get back inside.
so they had told him to exit the bar, you said?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Trevor, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. How old are you, sir?
7.
What do you do with yourself these days? What do you do with yourself these days?
So I'm unemployed. I don't have a job.
How come?
Just moved here. Just moved out here.
From where? Okay, what are you planning on doing with yourself?
Job.
Okay, how long has it been since you've had a job?
Like 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years since you've had a job? How do you support, how do you live? How do you eat? How do you get money? Okay,
I'm in trouble. See my record. I don't get in trouble.
so you have any prior criminal history?
Just carrying a handgun in a motor vehicle that was dismissed.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go back to this place. Do you understand? Not to be in possession of any weapons. Do you understand? So how are you gonna get a lawyer, sir?
Get paid for them.
So you're just gonna do nothing and
You sign me a
so I don't want to talk to you, the case. I don't want to talk about the case, but let me ask you this. You haven't had a job for 2 to 3 years. Why should the people of Harris County have to foot a bill for you when you get to do nothing for 3 years? How is that fair that we all have to pay for your lawyer when you don't do anything? You get to play Xbox all day, just hang out at home and do nothing, and we have to foot the bill for that? How's that fair?
I don't have it. What you want me to do?
So here's what we're gonna do. I'll have you fill out an application. I'm now making a condition of your bond. You've got to get a job. And I'm gonna bring you back in 2 weeks. I want to see what you've done to get a job. You're 27 years old, dude. This life is really, really tough without money. And the older you get, life doesn't get easier. It gets harder. You get bigger, you get fatter, you get uglier, you lose hair, right? And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a trade, if you don't have a way to make money, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think people are going to keep giving you handouts the rest of your life? That's how we have all these people who walk the street, looking all Quasimodo-like, have no way of getting money, no traits, no skill. That's not the way to go through life, man. Now is when you work your ass so that when you become 60, when you become 70, you have a cushion, you have somewhere to land. So you have a house, you have a nest egg savings. Because if not, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have a really rotten and miserable life. This life is a journey, and it's really a good journey where you buy nice things, have nice clothes, take nice vacations, pretty wife, kids, or it can be a rotten toilet of an existence where you're in and out of jail. You ain't got no money. You're begging every single person for this and for that. And that's not the way to go through life. Did you even graduate from high school? I want you to get a job. I will give you a lawyer today. But you're not to use alcohol. You're not to use illegal drugs. And I'm going to test you like crazy. I want you to know that now. And I'm going to hold you to a standard as well. Do you understand? And if you don't, life's not going to go well between you and I. I'm just telling you that now. You will be held to a standard. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks. And I want to see what you have done to get a job. If you come back here and you ain't got nothing in your hand, it's not going to go well. Do you understand? You might give an application.
That's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.